Today is the 4th of December, 2023. This is the Standing Committee on Mobility, and my name is Derek America, and I wish to welcome all the colleagues and the support staff. A hearty welcome to our meeting today. May I express my appreciation to the colleagues who have made a great effort to attend this meeting. I know it's a constituency day, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, we are pressed for time to get our final mandates in. And before I continue with the meeting, may I just ask the members to introduce themselves for record purposes, and then we'll take it from there.
Andrikus van der Westhuizen, lid van die komitee.
Williams, member of this committee.
Goedemiddag, voorzitter. Mbulelo Isaac Sleko, lid van die komitee. Middag.
Goedemiddag.
Good afternoon, Chairperson, to members of the committees and members of staff. I'm Lulama Mvindi.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Could I then ask you, Han, do you have any apologies that you received?
Chairperson, all members are present. Just an apology from Advocate Andre Leroux. He's unfortunately currently busy with his presentation, and I had to slip out to come and attend the meeting. Okay. He makes his apology.
Thank you so much. Now, colleagues, as I was saying, that this meeting is conducted via MS Teams on a virtual platform. We are all familiar with the rules of engagement, so I'm not going to repeat that. Could I ask if there are any departmental officials present in the meeting? Silence suggests that none of them are present.
Nobody present, Chair.
Okay, thank you. As per usual, colleagues, for those who may experience technical difficulties, we have our able technical support staff on standby. So they will assist if you require their assistance. Then, colleagues, just one matter I just want to bring to your attention. We have received all the correspondence for this particular meeting, but there's one other outstanding issue that I just want to bring to your attention, and that is the final mandates that we have sort of agreed to in our previous meeting regarding the Road Traffic Amendment Bill, as well as the Land Use Amendment Bill. Now, you may have, as part of the information pack that you received, you may have noticed that there is a minutes of meetings of the NCOP dated let me just put it out, the date of the meeting, 29th of November, where the final negotiating mandates were considered. And we also noticed that at that particular meeting, the chairperson tabled a correspondence that he received from this committee as per the instruction of our previous meeting. At 3.1.1, 3.1, the chairperson tabled correspondence response to provincial mandates, National Land Transport Amendment Bill, and the National Road Traffic Amendment Bill. So that letter that you mandated me to direct to the chairperson of the Standing Committee was tabled at that meeting, and I also received the response. Having deliberated on the correspondence, the committee agreed to proceed to the consideration of the final mandates of those two bills. And going further down and looking at the provincial mandates, you may have noticed that there were no final mandates from our province. Now, we know that we have formulated and submitted the final mandates. What then subsequently happened, and I think Johan can come in here, is that our province did not submit our final mandates on time. They did not submit the final mandates on time, and so at this meeting, when the final mandates were considered, you will notice there that the Western Cape, the province did not submit a final mandate. And that applies to both bills. So Jan, will you just come here and just explain the circumstances surrounding the inability or the omission, what happened here?
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm going to try quickly and share my screen. What did happen was directly after the meeting, our mandates were submitted to Parliamentary Support Services, and in specific to the NCOP liaison person that needs to process it, submitted to the Speaker for signature, and then it will be sent to the NCOP. They were busy doing that, and then they have picked up that there was a mistake. I just want to see if this one works. Chairperson, is my screen visible now?
No, screen is visible, but I'm sure nobody can read it because it is very small.
Let me try and make this bigger. So what happened was he indicated that they did receive our mandates on the 28th of November. They prepared it, and then they realized that they made a mistake with the wording in the documents that they sent to the Speaker. And that what also happened to the National Health Insurance mandate. They then sent it back to them to correct, and by doing that, they then took too long to resubmit it to the Speaker's office, and by the time they then eventually submitted to the NCOP, it was too late. I don't know if this is the explanation where he gave me. I received the attached minutes of the Select Committee on 28th of November. That's now our standing committee, and prepared the draft final mandate of the National Land Transport Amendment Bill and the National Road Traffic Amendment Bill. The draft final mandate was sent en route for signature approval on 28 November at 12:13. Our office received the signed final mandate the next day, 29th of November at 8 o'clock, just after 8. The NCOP coordinator informed us a few minutes earlier that the wording on the National Health Insurance mandate needed to be amended. We then realized that the wording of your two bills on the final mandate cover page, which we submitted to the Speaker for signature, was incorrect. We amended it and submitted it to the NCOP on the same day of 29 November. We only realized that we had submitted it late or later. Mr. Mthelini did indicate to us that the two bills will be dealt with on the 6th of December next week at a plenary. Chairperson, now going through this now, we have then asked what is the process going forward? And we have now, or they've now prepared a voting mandate. And the question that I've posed to them is, given the fact that the committee didn't consider our mandates, would it be advised that WCPL, or they replied to us that we then, they didn't look at our final mandates, but that we then provide them with voting mandates. And they now have prepared the voting mandate. So our permanent delegate will get the voting mandate, which is in line with our final mandates. But the hiccup and the slip up came from Parliamentary Support Services that submitted, because they did the wording wrong, submitted it late, and the committee never considered it.
Okay, right. So, colleagues, just wanted to share that with you. Thank you, Anne, to share that with you. So I didn't know if there's any comments you'd like to make with regard to that particular sort of mishap that occurred. So the long and the short of it, Honourable van der Westhuizen, I recognize you. You may proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is unfortunate indeed, because we have spent some time and liaised, and asked for public input on this. So I'm very, very sorry to hear this, but I think we must expect that, the NCOP will be setting more and more, can I put it, strict or close deadlines. Perhaps the word close is better, where we will have very little time to submit the input from province to the NCOP the closer we get to next year's elections, and that we will have to really be aware of the strict timelines that I expect will be expected of us going forward for the next few months. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable van der Westhuizen. Any other colleague would like to come in here? If not, thank you. That's just an unfortunate situation. I think, although our mandate is not recorded in the minutes, it would not have made a material difference in terms of whether the legislation is agreed upon or not, because all of the other provinces agreed to both legislation, pieces of legislation. But as you were saying, is that, with the avalanche of legislation coming on the province's way, and other provinces, of course, that it is unfortunate that these two slip through the cracks. But as they've assured us that on the 6th of December, when the bills are considered in plenary, then our mandates will be recorded as a voting mandate on the day. So all is not that lost, in a sense, that our mandates will be sort of recorded in Hansard and the records that we did not support the one bill and we supported the other one. And that is where we are as far as those things are concerned. And that brings us to the reason why we're here today is, again, because of the tight deadlines that we are confronted with. We are now saddled with, formulating a final mandate with regard to the Economic Regulations Amendment Bill, because the NCOP's meeting tomorrow, Jan?
Day after tomorrow's, Chair.
The day after tomorrow, the 6th. Yeah, to consider the final mandates. Now, so we were saying earlier that Johannes has sent out all the necessary documentations to all the colleagues, the minutes of the meeting that took place on the, let me just see there quickly. Wait, let's just see, and let me just see the date. It was, sorry, colleagues, that I am on the 22nd. They were about to consider the negotiating mandates of all three bills. They have not considered the negotiating mandate on this one that we're dealing with today. The meeting was subsequently postponed to the 29th. And there's certain things happened there. Certain things happened. Our permanent delegates, they weren't too happy with it. They left the meeting, be it as it may. Then on the 29th, the negotiating mandates were considered by the NCOP. We submitted quite a comprehensive list of recommendations. So on quite comprehensive list for them to consider in relation to the economic regulations of transport bill, and they have responded to our input. The bill was passed, blah, blah, blah. And there's the provincial mandates. They gave us an overview in a tabular form. And colleagues, I just want to read it quickly. Table 2 below provides proposed amendments or suggestions contained in the provincial mandates. The suggestions of proposed amendments highlighted are identical to those which the Department of Transport addressed the Select Committee on during the committee meeting of the 6th of September. During the Select Committee meeting on the 20th of September, the committee posed further questions for clarifications to the department, to which the department provided further responses. And those are the responses contained in this table. Now, then also, and I'm not going to go through all of it, colleagues, you have received it. And then we will then provide it with a C-list, right? C-list of the amendments that were agreed to by the Select Committee, proposed amendments, and that we also received. It's a C-list, and if you go through the clauses that were amended, basically they are the typographical corrections, a comma here, a full stop there, no real sort of substance changes that were affected into the final bill. So that brings me and us back to the table. All of the proposals and the department and the colleagues have gone through great lengths to make these sort of recommendations, not in a sense to highlight deficiencies in the bill, but to make it a better bill. And unfortunately, 99%, I could almost say 100% of our recommendations were not agreed to, safe to say those in green. And they are basically just, I take clause 1, for example. It is recommended that the word "or" that appears before the words "to" be excluded or deleted. And of course, that's it's inconsequential sort of change. It's bad drafting, and they agree to it. So those are the kind of suggestions or recommendations that they've agreed to. None of it were really, where the substance of the bill is being sort of improved upon, were not agreed to. So, colleagues, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to just remind us that when we negotiated the mandate, when we submitted our negotiating mandate for this particular bill, we were motivated by the promise that a substantial amount of our recommendations will be considered and perhaps be incorporated if we never expect everything to be agreed upon. And on that basis, we would support the bill. Now we are confronted with a situation where, as displayed in the table, that hardly any of our recommendations were agreed upon. So the question is, having considered the responses to our recommendations and being mindful of our negotiating mandate, we need to ask ourselves the question whether the responses is of such a nature that we can still live with the negotiating mandate and still support the bill, or do we have to change our mandate? I open the floor for discussions and inputs. I recognize Honourable van der Westhuizen.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Chair, in our negotiating mandate, we indicated that we would be willing to support the bill, but it was conditional, subject to certain amendments being adopted by the National Council of Provinces. And as you've now, informed us, almost none of those proposed amendments were favorably considered by the NCOP. And therefore, I believe that, since our support was conditional and since those conditions were not met, that we, as a final mandate, indicate that we do not support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable van der Westhuizen. I recognize Honourable Seleku. Honourable Seleku.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that report, Chair, and also what has transpired when they were dealing with this particular bill under negotiating mandate, especially leading to our permanent delegate leaving the meeting due to unhappiness in terms of the processes within that particular select committee in the NCOP. So, Chair, I'm not going to mess any of the words and just concur with what Member van der Westhuizen is saying, that we do not support in terms of our final mandate, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable van der Seleku, Mbelelu Seleku. Any other colleague would like to express him or herself?
Chairperson?
Yes.
Yes. No, Chairperson, mindful of the issues that has been raised by you and other members, as well as the submission that have been made, I still think that it will be a good thing for the committee to support the bill, because this bill is not only applicable to the Western Cape province, it's actually a national bill, and it's actually a bill that has been coming on for a very long time. And then, of course, it's one of the bill I've been observing very closely, albeit I might be missing some of the meetings, but I've been watching it very closely with all the public processes that has unfolded regarding it. So it's in that regard that I think, Chair, I will support the bill. If the committee doesn't support the bill, I would like to exercise Rule 90 so that the minority views can be recorded in support of the bill.
Okay, thank you, Honourable Mbembi. Honourable de Villiers, you have any comment you'd like to make? Or?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, it's sad when you go on somebody's word and it's not being delivered to your satisfaction or expectations. What I would first want to go back to Member van der Westhuizen's comment about we must be aware that what's going to happen going forward now with elections coming and all those kind of things. What I want to suggest is that we must keep our part clean. We must do whatever is expected of us, even if it means we have to burn the midnight candle and be punctual on all our little things, so that whenever we point the finger, we as a committee know that we has done everything. Coming back to the bill, for me it's so important that we if we don't support it, that we just put A, B, C, and D down why we don't support it. Let that can be recorded. Let it doesn't become again because we say, you say, and you say, we say, that it becomes something substantial where we actually express our dissatisfaction with the way we feel we've been treated. We won't never have a opportunity and a platform to go stress it, but we do have now the opportunity during what we're going to submit to tell them that, listen, although it's a national thing and everybody's going to be impacted by this whole thing, we feel that we've been unfairly treated in what we made to be understood, and because of A, B, C, and D, we can't support it as it is now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Honourable van der Westhuizen. Thank you for your input. I know that we started with this process many months ago, and unfortunately you weren't part of the journey. We could have benefited from your insights had you, walked this historical walk with us. But I appreciate your view. Unfortunately, we cannot have a conditional memorandum with the mandate. We either support it or we don't support it, and that's just the nature of the process that we're at now. But certainly part of our negotiating mandate, we express ourselves in that sense, and certainly in the debate itself, our permanent delegate would then advance the reasons, and we can provide him with certain sort of support in terms of how we should convey our view when he participates in the plenary when the bill is tabled. So we have a majority of colleagues, include Honourable van der Westhuizen, Seleko, Honourable de Villiers, that we as the Western Cape do not support the Economic Regulation Transport Bill, including myself. That makes 4 out of 4 against 1. Sorry, Honourable Mbambi. So, without any further ado, it is the express view of this standing committee, who will confer upon our permanent delegate in the National Council of Provinces, that we do not support the bill. So, Mr. Kutsia. Yes, Honourable Mbambi. You muted. You're still muted. Honourable Mbambi,
yeah, I think
you muted.
No, sorry, I was saying, Chair, no, I take note of the decision of the majority. I remain of the view that I would like to support the bill in spite of the bullying by the majority. I remain resolute.
There's no bullying here.
I think it's a poor choice of words, Honourable Mbambi. It's not bullying. It's something they call democracy, of course.
Thank you, Chairperson.
As imperfect as it is. Johan, can you flag the report for us that we will submit to the NCOP quickly for consideration? Johan?
Hey,
Are you there? Okay.
There we go. I'll just...
Okay, can you just enlarge it a little quicker? Thank you so much. I just read the report into the record. It's a final mandate. You can just take that out. Final mandate stage. You can just start with report of the Standing Committee on Mobility on the Economic Regulation of Transport Bill B1D 2020 NCOP dated the 4th of December 2023. The Standing Committee on Mobility, having considered the subject of the Economic Regulations and Transport Bill B1D 2020 NCOP, referred to the committee in accordance with Standing Rule 217, recommends that the House confers on the Western Cape's delegation in the National Council of Provinces the authority not to support the bill. Can you just take out support? And the report is to be considered that you can take out as well. That remains, of course.
That remains, Chair.
Okay, so that is the report that will be sort of submitted to the NCOP, and our permanent delegate will be bound by that this report when they consider the final mandate on the 6th, the morning of the 6th, not to support the bill. And we also know that the NCOP rises on the 6th, so all of these things are now being condensed into those days so that they can get it done. Honourable van der Westhuizen, I recognize you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I don't know if it's just on my screen that the document is frozen, but I think there where the cursor is, the word TO, to not support the bill. The authority.
Yeah, too. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You missed that.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
And with that amendment, I would like to propose that we adopt this report.
There's a proposal that we adopt. Honourable Member, unfortunately, in the sense, I don't think that the rules make provision for us to include in terms of Standing Rule 70, the expression of the minority view in the report. I don't know, Johan, you must guide me here.
Chairperson, that is correct. This is the vote from the province, and the province vote to not support the vote. I will reflect that in the minutes that Member Mvimbi indicated that he does support the vote in terms of the minority rule.
Okay. And
Thank you,
are you happy with that?
Thanks very much, Chairperson Kaba. Thanks very much, Johan.
You're welcome. Thank you. Do I have a mover? Honourable van der Westhuizen, can I have a seconder for that? Honourable Seleko? I recognize you.
Chair, I second the proposal to adopt
Okay.
the report of the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay. So the report is duly adopted. We have a mover and we have a seconder. So that concludes the consideration of the final mandate of the committee. So that brings us to item number 2 on the agenda, and that's adoption of the minutes of the 21st of November, and the 27th of November, and the 29th of November. Those minutes, Jan, were circulated, all of it, right?
Yeah, yes, Chairperson.
And I put them collectively for adoption. Can I have a mover to adopt the minutes, or a seconder, or if there's any corrections that members would like to highlight in those minutes? Jan, can you just flight the minutes, Honourable Seleko?
Chair, I propose that we accept and adopt the minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any seconder? Honourable van der Westhuizen?
I support that motion.
Okay, thank you so much. Those minutes are duly adopted by the committee, and that brings us to the last point on the agenda, resolutions. Colleagues, are there any resolutions in respect to our deliberations today that you'd like to bring to the committee's attention for recording and action? on
Nothing from my
organisation?
side. Nothing from my
Nothing.
side, Chair.
Anybody else? Anything from your side? Okay, good. Right, Honourable Seleku, thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of this meeting, colleagues. Again, allow me to express my appreciation. And I must also mention to you earlier that I concurred with Johan with regard to Advocate Leroux's presence in the meeting. And unfortunately, as you know, he's engaged in a presentation in another meeting. But he has given us the assurance that legally and technically there's no shortcomings with regard to the bill that we have sort of deliberated on. He has scrutinized it and everything is above board. So, again, let me reiterate. Thank you, colleagues, for your sacrifice, for your hard work. I know we started with these bills the beginning of last year, and it was a long journey. And finally, we're here, and you know, two more bills awaits us for next year, and hopefully we'll be able to finish it and finalize it before we rise, but we don't know yet. So with that, colleagues, Jan, thank you so much. Ms. Mpela Nomfundu, thank you so much. Siam, Siraj, Mr. Hassan, and everybody else who assisted in the background, thank you so much. With that said, colleagues, have a wonderful evening further. We'll see each other tomorrow.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson.
Thank you,
Thank you
colleagues.
very much.
Thank you, Nomsi.